The Flash is now the longest running show in the active Arrowverse, now that Arrow is gone as of 2020. The show has built up the mythos of Barry Allen and shown a lot of love to a lot of characters both big and small from DC Comics continuality, such as Cisco Ramon, aka Vibe, the Rogues, including putting a more heroic spin on Heatwave and Captain Cold, and so on. But the show is built on speedsters. So much so that the show has honestly had a problem with them until recently. But in the context of the show, which is the fastest of the fast? Allow us to show you the Flash, Fastest Speedsters ranked. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. 10. The Rival. In the Flashpoint storyline that tragically was only one episode before being fixed, we saw a world where Nora Allen didn't die and Barry never became the Flash and the fallout that came from that. Wally West would eventually become the Flash, aka Kid Flash. And not surprisingly, he had his own speedster nemesis in The Rival, who, believe it or not, was an old-school enemy of the Justice Society of America. His real name was Edward Claris, and while he claimed to be a major threat, he honestly wasn't. Both Kid Flash and the Flash were able to beat him without much effort, and he was trashed by a certain speed god later on in the arc. He had his moments, but in truth, his character wasn't that fleshed out. He was a stereotypical I'm bad because I'm bad villain, and the Flash did a lot better with other characters. We can consider him another casualty of the very short Flashpoint storyline. 9. Trajectory. In Season 2, the multiverse opened up for the first time in the Arrowverse, as we were introduced to Earth 2, and with that came a lot of new dangers. But one that happened on Earth 1 was that the Trajectory, aka Eliza Harmon, unlike the Speedsters who got their powers from the Speed Force, Harmon got her powers from the drug Velocity 9, which had the side effect of giving her a split personality. While she seemed faster than Barry Allen while on the drugs, he was able to just run faster and faster to catch up to her. It should also be noted that at this time, Flash was not still as Flash as a certain supervillain we'll get to later. When she decided she needed to up her speed, she thought more drugs would help, but then ended up disintegrating, proving she had a top level she could never surpass. She too was a bit of a one-note villain, but she served a purpose at least in pushing a key storyline forward. 8. Kid Flash. This one is gonna hurt a lot of people, but this can be attributed to the nature of the show versus the nature of the comics. A little backstory. In the comics, Wally West is a nephew of Iris West, and the kid who idolized Barry Allen, so much that he created the incident that Barry had to give him access to the Speed Force. Or at least that's how it happened in one continuity. As Kid Flash, Wally was Barry's sidekick and best friend in many ways. Eventually, Wally's connection to the Speed Force was so strong that he surpassed Barry in terms of raw speed, becoming the true fastest Flash. But in the show, they followed the new 52 model of Wally West, and made him a bit slower. So much so that his time on the show kept getting pushed off by both story and actor reasons. And now, due to the events of Season 6, Wally's connection to the Speed Force is waning just as much as Barry's. So who knows if he'll get to be Kid Flash again. 7. Jessie Quick. As part of the Earth 2 storyline, we get to meet Harrison Harry Wells and his daughter Jessie. Harry and Jessie had the typical not bonding father/daughter storyline, but it eventually led to Jessie getting her own speedster powers and becoming Jessie Quick, a reference to the JSA character from the comics. She beat Wally West in a race, so she is clearly quicker than he is. She also held her own against Savitar, which was impressive as well. As the main Flash on her Earth, Jessie can run over Mach 2 in speed, and should get faster with more experience. Or at least she would, but because of the crisis on Infinite Earths, Earth 2 is not the Earth 2 we know. In fact, Earth 2 is now the home of the Stargirl franchise and its characters, and so by all of its intents and purposes, Jessie Quick is dead. Granted, they could work some magic to pull her back, but at the present, that doesn't look likely. 6. Jay Garrick. The original Flash in the comics, Jay Garrick, came to the Flash in season via Decoy, and then as his true self. He's the Flash on the previous Earth 3 Crisis, and he was easily the most experienced Flash on the show. Jay was very fast and actually caught up with Barry Allen to pull him out of the time stream, where he tried to undo the Flashpoint changes. He was also able to keep up with Salazar. Although he lost that fight, he is slower than Zoom though, who beat and imprisoned him on his own Earth. What's more, his age and use of the Speed Force caught up to him, and during a Hyper Time episode, he admitted that his time was done. 5. Zoom. One of the early major villains of the show, Hunter Zolomon, aka Zoom, was the evil speedster that Barry Allen had to beat down when Earth 2 came to Earth Prime. Zolomon was a serial killer who was given super speed by the Star Labs particle accelerator explosion, as he was about to be executed via the electric chair. Yeah, that's dark. Obsessed with power and fame, he tried to boost his own speed via Velocity 9, and even created a time double to make himself both the hero and the villain in his own story. In Season 2, he beat Barry so badly that he left him paralyzed, and it seemed no one was stronger. He also stole Barry's speed and became the fastest man alive. Even when Barry got his powers back, Zoom was faster. However, the one problem was that Barry could naturally increase his speed and Zoom couldn't. So that is how he ended up falling short. Well, that and Barry used Zoom's own time double against him to save the multiverse. 4. Savitar. Season 3 put a dark twist on villains with Savitar, who was the god of speed and had a connection to the Speed Force that few understood. He was able to go between it and the real world anytime he chose, and was able to beat anyone from Barry Allen to Garrick easily. However, when Savitar came out of the Speed Force, no longer bound there, he became a basic speedster. He was still faster than anyone else, but was only able to match the speed of Barry Allen, who used various techniques to destroy Savitar's suit and render him just a man. Which, if you forgot, that man was Barry Allen, as he was a time double that was abandoned after Barry failed to save Iris's life. Welcome to Comics TV. 3. The Black Flash. As punishment for his crimes against the multiverse, Hunter Zolomon was given a fate worse than death. After being captured by the Time Race, basically being to capture people who interfere with the timeline, he was transformed into an entity of death, the Black Flash. His job was to go after the speedsters that got out of line, and that meant that he had to be faster than almost all of them. HyWARD Thawne knew that he couldn't outrun Black Flash, and when Barry Allen tried to break Wally West out of the Speed Force, Black Flash overpowered him. But Black Flash can be tricked and even captured by non-speedsters like Malcolm Merlyn and Damien Dark, so he's fast but not invincible. 2. The Reverse Flash. This one might confuse you, as we just said Black Flash was faster than Thawne, but the Reverse Flash is definitely faster in certain facilities, and epically the best villain across the Flash timeline. All of them. HyWARD Thawne was born out of his hate for the Flash, and even created Barry Allen's history by killing his mother just so he can get his powers a few centuries down the line. HyWARD consistently and repeatedly goes and screws with Barry Allen across multiple timelines and worlds, and is easily as fast as him most of the time. As he said, he's the reverse of him, so his speed and brains are on par with any other out there. Plus, because of his craftiness, he just won't die. 1. The Flash. This one shouldn't be a surprise, though it is a bit iconic given that Barry's technically out of speed at the end of Season 6. But in his prime, Barry Allen was much the fastest man alive. Yes, it took him a while to reach top speed, but he consistently grew faster, and he was able to do things that other speedsters couldn't do. He could break through the dimensional wall with his speed, travel to various points in time, create time doubles, and at multiple points live in the Speed Force and get more speed as a result. He'll get his speed back in Season 7, no doubt, and when he does, yeah, he'll be the fastest man alive, once again. So what do you think? What do you think of the look of the speedsters on The Flash and how they rank in terms of pure speed? Can you believe that there have been this many speedsters on the show? Which ones were your personal favorites when they were on? What do you think will happen in Season 7 of the show? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.